Vanessa, how are you doing?
I'm doing so well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. You are on this season of Squid Game The Challenge 2. You're player 17, and you made it all the way to the finale. First of all, that is amazing. I want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah,
It
you're
was a
welcome.
wild ride, let me say.
Yeah, yeah, it was a wild finale. We'll get into all that in just a second, but I want to start this off by asking, what was your casting story like for Squid Game and why Squid Game?
Basically, ever since my Big Brother Canada season ended the way it did with the pandemic and the whole thing, I always just was like, I wonder how I do on something that didn't end in such a tragic, crazy way. So I mean, although I haven't applied to a lot, I have a weird work schedule and stuff like that. But I heard of Squid Game. I heard that it was filmed in the winter months. I watched season one, the credits rolled, and at the end it said, if you think you can do this, like put your name in. I never applied for season one because I never heard about it, but I definitely applied for season two. But I applied in like December of 23, didn't hear anything for almost a year. So it was quite a long process. But yeah, once they got that call back, I was like, okay, I got this. Cause like out of 456 people, I was like, one of them's gonna be me. I just knew it. I was really hoping so. So they ended up picking me, and there sure weren't a lot of Canadians. I thought there was gonna be more, but um, I somehow made my way into the dorm.
Yeah, that's incredible. Now, you just touched on something that I cannot wait to talk to you about. You're from Big Brother Canada. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, season 8?
Season 8, yes.
Okay. Now, this is a crazy talked about season because you got canceled. The whole season was canceled because of the COVID pandemic, and that's it. The show was wrapped.
Mhm.
Can you explain, first of all, that whole COVID situation, but also like you getting on Big Brother Canada? Has that always been a thing for you? Have you always been a
Mhm.
fan? Let's talk about just that whole situation.
Absolutely. So, huge Big Brother fan. I have to say, like, my top shows are Big Brother and Survivor and like Amazing Race. Those are like my like I would just love to do them all. But so here's the thing is where I'm from. I'm from Canada's smallest province. It's called Prince Edward Island. It's just a little island, and we actually never had someone from my province be on the show. So that was like my leading like drive, my motivation. I was like, I want to be the first person from my province, make it on. It ended up working out for me in a way. I was very excited about getting on. Like my whole province was honestly just like over the moon about it. We did our 15-day sequester before entering the house, and then we entered the house, all of which, as everyone knows, we're cut off from the outside of the world at that point. No phones, no TVs, no news. And during that time is when the pandemic was taking over the world, essentially. It made its way to Canada at that point. People, it wasn't good. We kind of had no idea up until I think it was like a couple days before the season got canceled. The producer came over the Big Brother microphone, and she did kind of let us know there's something going on. There is a sickness out here. We started to freak out. I mean, because
Yeah.
we had no idea. Like it was the strangest thing, because you're just, when you're living in there, it was almost like the game was my life. I didn't even like, it totally took me out of the game as well, because then you're starting thinking about like, oh, is my family okay? Like, yeah, so crazy situation for sure. The season ended up canceling a few days later. Basically we were the last thing on television. Like even sports were canceled long before us. Production did a great job at trying to to keep the show going. They even tried to like bargain with the government, saying if we isolate at the studio, can we keep the show going? And they were just like, no. They just wanted to shut down all non-essential businesses. So unfortunately we had to go home, which was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. How long did you even get to play before it got canceled? How many weeks were you in?
Not many weeks. It was only 25 days in the house
Oh,
itself. Yeah, so it
wow.
was early days for sure. Yeah. Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, no, I could not imagine that. Like you said, like the panic that would set on me, just not knowing what
Yeah.
this is, and then how you guys found out. I'm sorry I
I
found out that
remember
way.
them dropping me off at the Toronto airport to fly home, and I mean that's our busiest airport. There's always like millions of people there, and
Mhm.
I remember there was like tumbleweeds going by. There was
Oh my god.
nobody around. Everybody had gloves and masks on, and I didn't really even understand why. Like, I was like, "What the heck happened?" Like, it was as if I came out to a zombie apocalypse. Like, no joke.
Yeah,
It was crazy. Yeah.
and not me watching The Walking Dead again right now.
Right.
I'm like, "Oh my
It's
god."
very similar. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I came home and I wasn't even allowed to see my parents. Like,
Aw.
I wasn't even able to get a hug from people.
Oh.
It was a rough go. So
Yeah.
that was motivation for doing something else and just
Okay.
seeing it through to the end, whether it be my demise or I win. I just wanted to try and play something else.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah.
want did were you hoping that maybe they'd call you guys back, like, for the next season it was airing,
Oh,
or
we had lots of hope. If I'm being honest, I kind of knew they wouldn't bring. I think there was 11 of us whenever the
Okay.
show, 11 or 12. But I knew that they weren't going to bring all the whole cast because we already knew each other. Like, I just don't know how
Mhm.
they would have made that work. But I thought that they would bring back a few.
Right.
But yeah, there were a few seasons after mine. Unfortunately, Big Brother Canada is no longer a show for a
Oh,
few years
no.
now. It's canceled. But there were a few seasons after mine, and they never did bring anyone back. So yeah, it was kind of it was just a crazy ending, and I think Big Brother Canada just kind of wanted to move on from it as well, and just be like,
Mhm.
let's start fresh with a new season, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
Well, I love for you the fact that you made it all the way, going from that to now Squid Game, making it all the way to top 4. That's incredible. I mean, that
Thank
out of
you.
5, what is it, almost 500 other people?
Yeah, 456.
Yeah.
456 of us. Yeah, did
Yeah.
not see that coming. I just the bar was low because I just didn't want it to end from a pandemic. Like, I was
Oh.
like, and I had this weird I was just like top 100 would be cool. Like, I
Mhm.
went in with very low expectations just based off
Wow.
my Big Brother experience. It kind of taught me, like, just just wait. Don't count your eggs before they hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a wild experience. Like, I love Squid Game. I love, like, the fact that I got to put on the iconic, like, tracksuit, like, the not only the tracksuit but then the dinner tux. Like,
Yeah.
that was a wild moment. I remember saying to myself when I put that on, I'm like, okay, I feel like a winner, and now
Mhm.
let's go win. But
You played every single game from the very
every
beginning.
single game.
Every game.
So that's, I think, in a way, looking at my personal story with the Big Brother stuff, like, it's kind of a win in itself, getting to
Yeah.
play every game and see it through. Didn't get the millions, but I got everything else. So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's talk about your kind of like your strategy. I've spoken to a few of your squiddies, and they've all said, it's kind of hard to have a strategy in this game. A lot of it is luck. So
Yeah,
did you have a
1000.
strategy going into the game?
My strategy, basically, I watched season one. I watched
Hmm.
how Mai played, the lady who won. She
Yeah.
laid extremely low key, didn't put her neck out, didn't volunteer for anything. So I was like, that's kind of how I think you get through such a large number of people, is you lay low.
Yep.
Especially as someone, I'm not gonna lie, going in, I thought there was gonna be other reality people. There were
Yeah.
not. So I actually had a few people who recognized me, and I definitely had some people who didn't want me there based on, they thought, oh, I already had my shot. This is my first chance. So I did have that in mind as well. So again, I wanted to make myself as small as possible because I knew that, I kind of was already going in with a potential target on my back. So that was basically my strategy: lay low, make friends, but not too many friends. Even that can get you in trouble.
Yeah.
So and again, yeah, it is luck. So
Yeah. So did a lot of people recognize you from Big Brother in there, or how many?
there were a few.
Okay.
I had a few message me after filming who, they actually said, I recognize you and I wanted to approach you, but they were like, I didn't want to blow up your game. They were actually trying to do me a
Oh,
solid. So I was like, okay, thank you. I had like probably 4 or 5 of them message
wow.
me say that, and I had a few of them come up to me in the game and say, like, I remember you. you know. I
That's
think a lot
cool.
of people who don't necessarily watch Big Brother Canada, they kind of know about the pandemic season and kind of know about the one that got canceled. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think that made us stick out a little bit. But yeah, it wasn't a crazy amount of people for sure, but a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mingle. Mingle is like the game that changed the game for you completely. Um,
Big.
yeah. What was it like sitting there, thinking you're out of the game, and then all of a sudden, rushing to the door for that one last spot? What was that
It's
like for you?
insane. I think about that moment all of the time.
Mm,
I remember like actually there's so much lead up to getting to one of these games, and then I remember in that moment when all the doors were closed, everybody had their spots except us. It felt so empty in there. It was just like, wow, we're done, like we're absolutely out. I remember unzipping my tracksuit because I wanted my squib to show really good. Like I even remember thinking to myself, like, okay, all of this to, I get out and mingle. Like, I was actually trying to accept it in my head of like, okay, this is when I get out. Like, right on. Made it pretty far, mingle. It's a good spot. And as I'm like contemplating this in my head, on the other side of the room, they're like, we need one, we need one. And I don't remember anything else other than just like flying, what felt like flying to the door. I raced somebody who is like twice my size.
mm-hmm.
He's an amazing human being. And I hate that I had to race my friends, but it was gonna it would the room needed one. It was gonna be one of us. And I made it happen, so it was me.
Yeah, that was it, it was incredible to watch. Yeah, you
Yeah.
outran him so quick. You're like, sorry, my
I
million
remember
dollars.
like in the moment hearing his stomps behind me, like two,
Oh
two, two,
God,
and I
I
was
was
just like,
freaking
"Go,
out.
Vanessa!" I think I was going so fast, I had to like slow myself down a little bit when I got to the actual door because I was just gonna like barrel through it. But
Oh,
what a moment for sure! I had to
mm-hmm.
re-strategize everything because I lost all my friends and ended up in a group
Mm,
that didn't. They weren't planning on working with me, but we worked. I was able to get through the rest of the game with them.
yeah.
Yeah, Mingle was crazy. What a
Mm,
game.
yeah. Speaking of the games, what did you think of Slides and Ladders? Did you enjoy
Oh,
that one?
I did. Slides and Ladders was the prettiest game for sure.
Yeah.
Like it was just the most aesthetically pleasing thing. Love the concept. We saw the slides and ladders on the wall in the dorm, so we were like hoping
Okay.
and praying that we were going to play a life-size version of that, and sure enough, we did. It went really well for me in the sense that I ended up placing first in that, even though I was put last by the
Yeah.
dorm monitors in terms of the placement and when we go. So I was worried going into it, but then we ended up placing like a really good position. I had a little bit of a strategy with the die on how to roll it and get numbers that I wanted. So
Oh,
it worked out really well for me. Yeah, that game was
wow.
fun. It was really
What
fun.
what was your strategy? Were you like throwing it really light or what were you
Yeah,
doing?
so it was a really big foam die.
Yeah.
And basically my strategy was like whatever number I didn't want to get, I would put it on the outside and
Oh,
try to roll it as straight as possible. So it would only be one of the four numbers as opposed to that outside number.
okay.
Avoiding the slides was key, and that was just a way that I thought to do it. um Production, they were watching us roll. Like if it didn't do a few turns, like they would make us do it again, so I was
Oh,
making sure that it would spin. But I was trying to make sure that I could at least predict it not going on my worst case scenario number. So
wow.
yeah.
Smart. That's smart. See, that's
Yeah.
some strategy right there. It does have some strategy in the game,
You
you know?
do. You have to find the game within the game sometimes, right? And that was the
Mm-hmm.
game within the game. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, we have to talk about this wild finale that you were a part of. I don't even know where to start. First,
I
let's talk
know.
about the dinner. Okay,
Yeah,
did you expect that from Trinity, and what was your thought process when he basically decided to hand you guys all the game?
I yeah. Like it still blows my mind to this day for sure. Um Whenever he was wanting the black coin from Steven, I was very confused. I didn't quite know what he was up to. But then, a few moments later, it just kind of dawned on all of us. We're like, oh my God, he's like giving it up. He's like gonna sacrifice himself. Like he's not gonna play the game. Like, which was crazy because like, just for me personally, I was in the worst position. I was
Mhm.
in position 5, so I only had one shot at this like 50-50 guess. So I was not happy about that. I was almost accepting, okay, this is when I go out. I make it to Final Five dinner and then I say my goodbyes. And then next thing I know, Trinity's doing what he's doing. And what's not shown on the edit is I tried to change that boy's mind for ever. I spoke to him about his mom, who he was trying to like win the money for. I was like, Trinity, what would your mom say? Like, please, like, snap out of this. Like, but he's at peace with what he did, and I love what he did, and he's an amazing human being. And not gonna lie, from a game perspective, as the person in the worst position, it was good news for me in that sense of like, okay, I might actually survive this one. Like, so did not see it coming, but the gamer in me was happy that it happened in a sense that I was able to continue on. So
Mm.
yeah.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Watching it at home and me being a messy person and I love to see
Yeah.
the mess, I was so convinced. I'm like, watch him trick you at the end.
Yes.
I
Yes.
really, and imagine the TV, like obviously it'd be terrible for you, but imagine like that would be so entertaining.
And I was
But
thinking,
no.
like, what a great strategy to play that game. Like, if
Yeah.
you did want to like trick someone, you could pretend like you were giving it up, and then. But I
Yes.
mean, wow, that would be. Um,
No. Yeah.
I would still be mind blown if Trinity did that to me. I would still just be like, what? In this constant state of just like, huh?
Mhm. But no, he's got a great heart. I
He
mean,
does.
I
He
wouldn't do
does.
that.
No, I know, and that's what it came down to. Whenever he was at me, it was, and I was still trying to convince him. It dawned on me, I'm like, Vanessa, you're trying to convince him, but that means that you're gonna have to go. If you know what I mean, don't be too
Like,
convincing, I guess. Like, so yeah. But there was no changing his mind at that point. No matter what any of us said, he was dead set on doing that. So
yeah. Wow. So you might, I don't know if you can touch on this at all, but did production like try to stop him from doing that or were they like whatever?
they did not. No, production did
Okay.
not, interject during that. They
Okay.
they they let that play out for sure. In fact, like when production, I remember this, like when he got squibbed, production usually comes and
Mhm.
gets you type deal, and brings you to where they need to bring you. I remember production had tears in their eyes. Like,
Oh, wow.
everyone was so emotionally moved in that
Mm,
whole studio building, I think, that night. Like, I don't think there
wow.
was a dry eye in the house. So yeah.
Wow. So the next thing for the finale was red light, green light, which they saved for the very end with just four of you. What was that like, first of all? And then, I don't know where you were at the time on the sides or if you even saw this live, but Deja hurting her ankle. I don't know if you saw that, but what were your thoughts
Right.
on that whole situation?
Wow, what a game. First with that, no, whenever I died, I was escorted not only out of the game, but out of that building, like into a
Oh,
whole
okay.
other building. They were very hush hush on all this stuff, right?
Okay.
But yeah, no, uh it's tough. Like, it's so much lead up. It's this was like day 17 of like very little food, very little sleep. The pressure of the millions on the line. Like, for me personally, it was even more money because I'm Canadian, so like I just had a
Yes.
lot of yeah, I had a lot of pressure on in that moment. So it I just had the thought of like, okay, I have to move the full song is
Mm,
really where my brain went. And I think that was definitely my mistake. I didn't play it safe enough, but I
mm,
think that was just based on like the pressure and wanting to make sure I at least gave it my all.
yeah.
Yeah. Nobody could say I didn't try, that's for sure. I tried, but I tried a little maybe too aggressively in a game where everyone else played it so safely, which was
Mm,
the smart move. I didn't really play it safe. I just was like, this is a race for millions of dollars. Go.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's hard to like tell what you would do or how your body would react in that kind of game. You know, it's a child's game, so it's hard to like say.
It
What did
is. Yeah.
yeah. What did you think of Deja? Like, I'm sure, so I don't know when you found out about her getting hurt, but what did you think about that situation?
Yeah, that's like I just it honestly it honestly makes me more thankful for the way I went out because I was like, oh God,
Mhm,
that the only worst thing would be that, I that's really too bad that it happened to her.
mhm,
I spent a lot of time with Deja though, I'll say, like from what I seen, she's doing good. And
mhm,
I mean, we flew together from Philly to LA and spent some time together and stuff like that. So she seems to be doing well. So I think, she's coming around, but yeah, tough way to go for sure. I can't imagine for the both of them, honestly. Steven too, falling to the ground the way he did, and
I know.
just yeah, as crappy as I feel about the way I went out, they made me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, right.
So I love them for that. Thank you for doing that.
Oh my gosh. So the thing about Squid Game is that it's not like Big Brother where we have all this time, even the live feeds, to get to know you guys. It's
Right.
really quick. Like in an episode, we'll learn about someone. In that same episode, they're gone. Um,
Gone.
what for me and for other viewers, what did we not learn about you?
Wow, that's a really good question.
Well,
Um,
Squid Game doesn't give you the air, so I'm giving it to
No,
you.
I know, that's it. And I was thinking that too. It's like it's just such a different game in the sense, like, you don't have to do like fight for votes and everything, but
Yes.
you know, it's crazy. I think what I'll say is like I know one thing I want to say is like I did hours and hours and hours of interviews and interrogation room stuff and just different things. And Squid Game is very much like a we're supposed to be in a prison. It's negative. It's kind of like a dreary show in a way.
Right.
So, what I will say is I said so many positive things about my life and my family and just like everything. And unfortunately it does seem like they kind of took the few negative things I said and exploited them, but that's TV, that's reality.
Mhm.
So I guess that's what I would tell people is like it looks like I'm a sad lost puppy on there, but I'm not. I'm a very happy person. I've done a lot of self-discovery over the years and have really improved myself. And I love my life. And that's one thing I definitely wanted to let people know because you don't get that based on the show.
No.
And I'm a gamer. It showed that the edit just kind of didn't do me justice in the sense of like all these other things I did in the game. And I was actually very targeted in there. And I think it just wasn't dramatic enough. So I do want to. That's the other thing I'll say is I was playing a hardcore game in there. And yeah,
Can you
that's it.
explain one of the like strategy, one of the things you were doing behind the scenes that didn't get shown?
So after Slides and Ladders, Chris and I, my partner, we got a 10-piece coin, which was like a big thing in there at that point. Like usually it meant that you could have the power to eliminate someone.
Yeah.
But I pretty much had thought to myself, nope, that's too predictable. It's gonna be something else. Sure enough, it was. So I ended up like doing all of these things and making my way. That then led me into making it through Circle of Trust, and it just all got cut out because they had to follow different storylines, and it just didn't make sense to include it, I think.
Hmm.
So that is one thing I'd say. And just a lot of other things. I built a lot of bonds in there, and I think we all feel that way, that
Yeah.
there's just not enough time to show it
No.
all. So, and there never is.
Yeah. No, they gotta make it longer, I think, or do
Oh yeah,
like a side show where we get to see more. Yeah, because it's a really
couldn't
good
agree
show.
more.
It's just really quick.
It is. And well, even season one had 10 episodes. And then unfortunately
Yeah.
for us, we got cut down to 9. And it like that then took out a lot of the extra little bits and the dorm life. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's very quick. Oh my God. It's
Mm.
hard to watch, just like you're like, how do you go from that to that? Because all of these other things happen in between there.
Yeah.
But they're just like, nope, moving on.
Oh, oh my gosh, that would stress me
Netflix,
out.
yeah, hey. They got to get to it, I guess. So whatever.
Right. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So can we see you on any other shows? Are you gonna keep applying anything else?
I probably will.
Okay.
We'll see. Again, it has to kind of align with my fishing schedule, but Amazing Race would be really fun. We have an Amazing Race Canada.
Yep.
And Canadians are allowed to apply to Survivor as well. So
Oh, you're right.
I
Yes.
might have to throw my name in the hat there, but
Mm-hmm.
Netflix does. We are under a contract for like a year. So we're kind of
Okay.
yeah, we're kind of on hold for a bit, but maybe in the future I will be
Yeah.
on something. You never know.
Now, something else that you guys have is traders. Are you into that? Have you ever seen
Yes, we
traders?
do. I keep forgetting about traders too. Like, and I'm even
Yeah.
watching it right now. Yeah, that might be a possibility as well. That traders is like to me, I would like it's kind of slow, but maybe I think it'd be
Hmm.
fun to play for sure.
I think you'd be a
Yeah.
good faithful. I don't know if you'd be schemy enough,
I
but I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Maybe
We
I don't
didn't
know how
see
to be
much
a
of you,
trader.
so
Like I do think when I lie, it reads on my face. So
okay.
I don't know if I'd be very good at that. But maybe that is what would make me a good trader. I don't know.
You never know.
You never know. But yeah, might have to give that a try too, because that would be fun. They've had some past BB Can players on there, so it's
Yeah.
possible for sure.
Where can
Yeah.
people find you? I know you have Instagram. I'm not sure if you
I
have
do.
like the TikTok and everything else.
I did get TikTok just because of Squid Game. Not
Yeah.
gonna lie. So I am on there. It's the same as my Instagram, Vanessa Clemens with a
Okay.
Z at the end. So yeah, you can find me
Perfect.
on there for sure.
I love it. Thank you so much for this, Vanessa. It was so much fun.
No, absolutely. This was so much fun. Thank
Oh,
you.
you're the best.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.